Coming to you live from the beautiful Portnoy Gallery in beautiful downtown Las Vegas. You are watching twin brothers from different mothers coming to you from a beautiful, sunny location. A little chilly here in Vegas, chilly by our standards, but nonetheless, we are here. It is October time. My Yankees are still playing, so kudos to my Yankees and Mr. Portnoy. Welcome back from Boston.
Thanks.
Were you experiencing some rather nor'easter-like weather?
Yeah, my team's not playing, so I couldn't watch any games.
No,
but
that's
yeah,
true.
It was,
did you watch Thursday night, though, what you guys did to my Giants?
Yeah, I did.
Not that it wasn't unexpected.
Well,
but
Matter of fact, it was 14-14 at the half.
I know.
It was a good game. I mean, other than the Patriots' unbelievable defense this year, the game could have turned out differently. But then, the Giants' defense, which was on the field much longer than the Patriots' defense, just couldn't hold up. And Patriots went down and did what they did, put 30-plus points on the board, and walked away statistically, numbers-wise, a big blowout win. But it was closer than the final score.
Absolutely. So that's okay. My pro football week didn't get off to a good start, but tonight my Nittany Lions are on prime time against Iowa. Yankees game 1 against Houston. And what else is happening on sports? Hockey's underway. Hey, I'm going to the Knights game tonight.
I have yet to go to a Knights game.
How did that happen?
No one's caught me any tickets.
With you doing all of that stuff for the Knights and Andre Fleury and
nobody gave me any tickets. I mean, I'd love to go see a hockey game here.
Yeah, these tickets are courtesy of Pete Torciello, who is a real estate realtor up in the Providence area, and he's very involved at Bozarth Elementary School, where my wife is the assistant principal. And he had a couple of tickets for tonight and couldn't use them, so we got a call, and we're excited. Plus, here's a nice thing: it also covers parking. So we'd have to deal with parking. So which is very thank you, Pete.
Are you up in the nosebleed section?
No, if it's the same seats we had last year when he gave us tickets, no, we were like lower second level,
which is good.
And we were like in one of the corners, which was great.
They have corners in a hockey game?
Well, rounded corners.
Rounded corners.
Right.
How do you have a rounded corner?
Look at a hockey rink.
Yeah, well, okay, good answer.
Or a roller rink.
Good answer.
Or a racetrack, right? They call those turns in the racetrack, though, right? They don't call them actually hockey.
Well, Stevie, I told this before on Twin Brothers. Stevie Wonder was once in the booth at a NASCAR event. And no, really, Stevie Wonder was. And he said to the announcer, I can do this. And the announcer looked very, puzzled at Stevie and said, "Oh, Stevie, you're blind." He said, "All you got to do is keep turning left."
That's right. Well, you'd never know the difference unless you make a wrong turn and turn right accidentally. Then you'd know you've been
in Vegas with all the cones. That's very easy.
Oh my God! The construction.
City's turned into Cone City.
Listen, let me tell you. The state bird at one time was the construction crane. I think now it's the yellow cone.
I like that. That was pretty good. The construction crane.
I'll tell you what. I'll start off with that as one of our topics that we'll throw out there. Speaking of construction,
yep.
Being forewarned is being forearmed. Fremont Street between Las Vegas Boulevard and 14th Street is going through a remodel. They are repaving, widening sidewalks, storm drains, sewer upgrades, street lighting, traffic signals updates, and they just started already. They were not supposed to start until next year, but they started it early. So all your traffic on, from Fremont Street, from the Boulevard to the 14th Street, is going to be a mess. They're going to have to move all those neon signs that are in the first block or two right there. It's going to be crazy.
I got a question.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd love to have the contract for the cones in this city. Secondly, I'd like to know if they're being traded on NASDAQ in the stock exchange, because I'd like to buy stock.
In the cones?
In the cones. It's amazing. It doesn't matter what part of this valley city that you go and drive through, there are cones. Somebody's making a lot of money on cones.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Hey, although I don't know why I can't see the chat room on my laptop, but I can see it on my phone. Scott Hogue, friend of mine who a couple of years ago moved to Alaska of all places, he certainly chimes in and says he does not miss the construction. And I don't blame him.
Do they have cones up in Alaska?
If they do, they're usually under white fluffy stuff most of the year. There's already snowing. It was snowing in Elko last week.
As you mentioned earlier in the show, I just got back last night. I flew in from Boston.
And your arms are tired, right?
My arms are very tired. But they were having a nor'easter.
Yeah.
In Boston, and listen, if it was colder, I would not be getting out of Boston. There would have been a lot of snow.
Yeah.
But we came cross country and we came toward the Great Lakes, and there was a whole system coming up from New Orleans all the way up to Canada, right in the middle of the country. So a little choppy getting over that. And then we came over, Denver area, and Denver got a lot of snow this
Yes, they did.
few days.
Yep.
A little choppy there, and I'm going, oh, I hate flying. And my wife Dorothy, who came with me, she says, I like when we get turbulence.
Why?
She just says it, it makes for the ride. And I'm like, I like a smooth ride.
Yeah.
Get me up, put me down, I'm
That's
done.
right. Does she like to ride roller coasters? That has turbulence.
She probably does, and I don't, because I don't like heights.
I don't either. I'm not a fan of roller coasters.
Well, Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My older sister, years ago, I was in Orlando and doing the Disney thing, and she said, "Come on, we're going on this ride." And first of all, I don't like heights, and I don't like roller coasters. And she didn't tell me what it was, and we get up there, and then they said, "Well, you got to take your glasses off." And I looked at her and said, "Uh-oh." And not only is it a roller coaster, it's in the dark.
Oh yeah.
You don't know which way you turn. I almost killed her.
I couldn't do that. No, yeah. So it's crazy. Turbulence.
John Lindquist.
Yes.
Just posted in the watch party.
I love John Lindquist. Hi, John.
John, the voice. John. I don't know if he goes by the voice or what does he go by?
He also might use some variation or whatever. Whatever it is, he's probably the best I've ever seen in this city do what he does.
Yeah, he's incredible. But he just wrote, and some of our on ramps are a mile long. I think somebody's brother-in-law is in the paving business. Now, let's bring it up to Congress. We'll go behind closed doors, and we don't talk politics. But
well, there is only one paving company in this town that I'm aware of. I won't mention the name.
Las Vegas Paving Company.
Although Neil just did. I don't know.
What else would they be called? I don't even know that they exist. Is that what it's called? Las Vegas Paving Company?
Yeah, that is the name of the company.
No brainer there.
Send your comments to Neil at.
It's just incredible.
Let's see. I just got a message. My friend Scott, he says they just received about 6 inches of snow so far. So they are currently snowing. And my friend Rusty Spindell, former NFL official and involved in sports. Problem, if the cones are faded, they have been working on this area too long. Also notice when cones are up, usually no one's working wherever the cones are. Think about it.
Well, that the coffee break, that proverbial coffee break, you drive by and you see all these cones and you see the construction vehicles and the apparatus around, and where are the people?
Yeah.
There's nobody there. And then you drive along and you get to a point and you go, all right, why did they put the cones up?
Yeah.
They're not doing anything.
How about the person that holds the stop and slow sign?
Well, they don't have.
That's all they do.
They don't have police details here. Back east.
No, I understand that.
Back east, my wife Dorothy worked in public works for a number of years for a number of towns in New England, and the police used to make a fortune overtime and pay by doing these what they call details. Here in Las Vegas, they don't do the details. They have these people. I think they find them in homeless shelters.
No, but those people who hold those stop and slow signs, they're part of the construction crew.
Well, they got the job because they did the Queen wave very well. That's how they got the job. They were able to do it.
Oh my goodness! It reminds me of living back in Jersey, because when I used to drive out to college from Jersey, drove out to Penn State, so you're driving halfway through Pennsylvania. My God, that Route 80, when you go up north to Jersey, make a left on 80, always through Delaware Water Gap, always was under construction.
Hey, isn't that weird? I drove that way once with my father-in-law and my wife. We went once, but there's this bridge that you swear to God you're going in the water.
Yeah, it's the Delaware Water Gap.
Oh my
Bridge.
God, I was scared.
And it's narrow.
It's
relatively narrow.
Yeah, but you look in the horizon and it's like, where are we going?
Absolutely.
You feel like you're going right into the water.
You do.
And it's this underground bridge thing.
I want to acknowledge Jonathan Carant, Lindsay's out there, Esther, Scott Hogue, Scott Hosey, Rusty, Willie's out there, Trap, Candy Fisher from the Atomic Roller Girls, Luis Valdez, Jake Miller's out there watching, Jonas is out there, and Salme is watching so far. We thank you all for tuning in. Please reshare this video direct to you all so others can also join in. All right, a couple of things before we move on and introduce our guest for today. The Las Vegas Ballpark, home of our Las Vegas Aviators, they are hosting a Golden Knights watch party on Saturday, October 19th.
At the ballpark.
At the ballpark, yes. Admission's only $5. Limited concessions will be open. All proceeds, 100% of the proceeds are donated to the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation. Gates open at 3 p.m. Gates will the game actually starts at 4, so the game they're projecting on the big screen, obviously. Tickets went on sale as of yesterday at Ticketmaster, or you can get your tickets the day of the event at the main box office. So you can put that on your calendar, something fun to do. A couple of notable real estate topics came through the wire this week, Mr. Neal. We talked about one before we went on the air. The famous Shenandoah Ranch, owned by Mr. Wayne Newton. We know in the past he's
formerly owned by.
And he's had some financial issues, IRS. All of this is public and whatnot. Anyway, his Shenandoah property, which was listed at 39.5 total acres. That's a big piece of property.
Sure,
and of course, he's expanded and bought all that property over the years.
Across the street as well, yeah.
Right. Originally listed for $18 million for this sale. Of course, like you said, it's changed hands a couple of times.
Correct.
But for this most current sale, listed at $18 million, was sold this past week for $10.5 million.
Well, again, there were a number of articles that came out regarding this issue.
Right.
And the current sale was like 10 grand under what the seller had purchased it for.
10 grand or 10 million?
10 million, I'm sorry.
Okay.
10 million underneath. So they've lost money on it, and there's an issue now with Wayne claiming ownership of personal memorabilia items like, gold baby slip shoes,
right?
Signed photographs of him with, very important, famous people like himself. He was able to go in and take out all the Arabian horses, and they had to have a special, it's right now it's in the hands of the court system. This one's appealing that one. And what the bottom line is? The attorneys make the money.
Oh, of course.
The longer it goes. So they, settling, you always hear about the, we're going to settle out of court.
Right.
The only reason they settle out of court, in my opinion, is because it's less expensive to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the attorneys are making all the money, and listen, Wayne is Mr. Las Vegas.
Right.
I've never personally met him. I've seen him at the Bronx Wanderers shows a number of times, and actually went to see his show, which was a great show. You got to kind of feel for a guy that put his whole life into entertaining, and now that he's in a situation, and I don't know what that is situation, but he's not the same Wayne Newton of 40 years ago.
Oh, no.
And you kind of feel for him and say, look, what's yours and personal property should be yours, and nobody should dispute that.
I would totally agree with that. Another interesting sale. How much do you think 1.3 million acres of land would be up for sale for?
1.3 acres of land.
1.3 million acres of land, not 1.3 acres.
Depends where it is. Location.
Okay, how about Alta and Rampart?
A fortune.
Okay. The Suncoast Hotel's land, the dirt, the grass, the pavement, whatever, is up for sale. Not the casino itself, because Boyd Gaming still owns the actual casino, and they're going to keep running it. But the dirt underneath with which the casino is standing on, 1.3 million acres, is currently up for sale.
Is Jimmy Hoffa buried in there?
He might be. I don't know. Could be. But I can't tell you a price. They will only let people know what the price is by request only. So if you got nothing to do later, why don't you give a call?
Yeah, but what are you going to do with the land if you can't?
Well, it's like a tenant, though. But it's like a tenant.
Do you want to build something else on the land?
Then you have to evict your client, your lease.
Yeah, but what's if you want to take apart? They have a very large parking lot.
Yes, they do.
And they rent it out during the TPC events.
Yes, they do.
Parking is put there. So are there deals that we don't know about that they can use the northeast corner and build something new, or
I'm sure
the casino?
I'm sure when and if the property does sell if it does, I'm sure we'll get all that information. But right now they're just calling it the land.
Let me call them right now.
Call right now, get a price, would you? Let's find out, would you, please?
Neither one of us can afford it. I'd like to know how much.
I got $1.50 I could throw into the till.
I got $3, $4.50 opening bid.
Candy might have a couple of bucks you can throw in.
Yeah, we'll talk.
And we can move her. We can move her place into that property if we buy it.
All she can have is a room. It's part of the contractual agreement. You can't have the whole thing.
Last but not least, two quick sports notes. Holyfield, Evander Holyfield, at the age of 56 and having been retired for 8 years, is looking to make a comeback because, quote, according to TMZ, he wants to give the people of Japan the chance to see the only 4-time heavyweight champion.
Well, did his hair grow back? Because they can see the full Holyfield.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you're not seeing the
original. Would that be Holyfield light?
Wow.
Hi, Jenny. Jeannie, sorry.
Jeannie, Jenny.
Nate down in Texas is watching. We got a lot of people checking in today. Good morning, everybody. So I don't know. Everybody thinks it's money. Could be. I don't know. But I don't want to see a 56-year-old guy get back in the ring. So
against who though?
I don't remember the name. It is in the article, but it's not like it's a name that I go, oh yeah, I know him.
Is he like a boxer? Or is
No,
he
he's a
an
boxer.
MLM?
No, boxer. It's boxer. Traditional. Last but not least, before we bring up our guests, I just want to mention that next Saturday, October 20th, is the Big Valley Wrestling's next event, Tricks, Treats, and Turmoil. We have a tag team title match that has already been signed. Fresco and Danilo will defend the BVW tag team titles against Exceptional and Tenacious.
Hey, I just
Yes.
gotta. I don't mean to
No,
interrupt,
that's
but I
fine.
do it all the time.
I know.
A very good friend of mine back east, Wayne Mogul.
Yes. Wayne what? What is the last name?
Mogel.
Oh, so like he's a
Could
big
be
mogul.
a tri-brother from different mothers because people used to mistake Wayne and myself all the time. I would go in a.
Okay.
He looks. Trust me.
Okay.
He could sit right here and I wouldn't know who Aaron was or Neil was. But I wanted to shout out to Wayne.
Sure.
He said, looking good, my dear friend. So obviously time for the new glass appointment.
Yeah, maybe we need to clean the lens off the laptop
Right,
camera or something. I don't know. But anyway, so come on down. That start time, 2 p.m. There are a few front row tickets left. Second row, a few seats remain. Tickets are front row is $25, second row is $20. General admission is $12. Kids 12 and under are free with a paying adult. There's a lumberjack match that's been signed. There's some great matches that have been signed. So come on down. That's next week. And BVW is doing 2 fundraiser events. To help the wrestling team over at Rancho High School. They're doing a fundraiser event there. And to help support the LGBTQ community where they had the graffiti and their place damaged a number of weeks ago.
Right, correct.
We're doing a card down there as well. So all for fundraising efforts. So just wanted to share that with my guys over at BVW.
Good.
All right. Is it that time? I know it is because she's busy setting up her camera and she's all ready to rock and roll.
She's got a camera over there?
Yeah, on this side. See, so her camera is only going to show me with her. You're not in. They just have to rely.
I'm not in the camera.
Because it's where it's set up.
Oh, all right.
Right?
Did it wrong, and it started before I
She had started before. It was
Oh,
meant to- So you know what? If you wanted to, you can always slide it up next to the laptop, perhaps, and well, that may bring closer in there. That's where you get Neil in there, so it doesn't feel left out. Well, that's a good angle. Right now, it's just on me, but that's fine. We'll fix it when you get up here. Yeah, there he is. He is here.
I just waved in a separate camera.
That's okay. All right, here we go. So it is our pleasure and to welcome a current African American Hall of Famer, the first African American owner of a WBA Chicago Twisters basketball team. She's a sports app curator. She's a brand consultant, you name it. But more importantly, she provides opportunities and services by connecting athletes, nonprofits, businesses, and brands all to their own. It is our pleasure to please welcome to the show Miss Kandi Conda. Come on up, my friend. Let's turn your mic live. You're good to go. This will be your mic. Welcome to the show. Happy birthday, by the way.
Tomorrow's Candy's birthday.
Tomorrow's Candy's birthday.
I want to see us, like go explode type thing on with wishing Candy a happy
Yeah,
birthday.
let's get some messages in there. You're at 19 and holding, right?
Yes.
Right.
My dad called me
Speak
the other
right
day,
into that microphone.
Yeah.
Put it right up. There you go.
because my dad called me the other day, and he's like, how old are you? You're like 40. I'm like 40. Who said
Oh,
that?
my goodness.
He's like,
That's not a good thing if you start off that way, Dad. Jeez Louise.
can I tell you guys a secret?
Please
So-
share anything you want.
But you're not just telling us. You're telling
telling
I'm
everybody.
telling all these people, right?
Right.
So remember when I heard you talking about the land?
Yes.
So there's a football player that was speaking at an event that I had in New Jersey last year, and he actually owned part of the land that was a old military base that Tyler Perry bought for his new studio
Really?
Where was this?
Back
in
in-
Atlanta.
wow.
Wow.
I don't know if you've been watching. Tyler Perry just had this whole big
Yes.
thing where he's got all this this land that he turned into his own studio. This just really huge, humongous thing, but it used to be a military base. So this athlete says, "Hey, guess what? I own part of the land." So he's like, "I'm getting ready to go do this deal with Tyler Perry." He said, "This is some land that I never thought I would do anything with."
Yep.
And he said it was an old base. Nobody wanted it. Look at that.
So it is
Now-
possible then.
It is possible to
That's
become a
good to know.
billionaire by. So maybe we should go over
I was
there
going to say.
and check
let's-
out the Suncoast land.
Yeah, let's do that.
Maybe we can buy like some stones on the land because that's all we can afford.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll
anything.
bring your own pebble.
Yeah, it's like going to a Jewish cemetery. Can I leave a
Yeah, right.
in the parking lot? Yeah. Why not?
Well, if Shenandoah went for $10 million, and that was only 1 point some odd or 39 acres, whatever it is. I mean, 1.3 million acres. That's got to be close to, I would say, if it's not 100 million, close. I mean, I'm just guessing. So
a lot of people don't know, though, that even some of the houses that we own, we don't own the land.
Right.
A lot of times we don't know that. We think we own the whole shebang. We really don't.
That's true. We're not landowners. We're homeowners. We don't necessarily
Yeah,
own
but
the
they
land.
they tax my land. I should.
Well,
own
that's
the
true.
land.
You
That's
get taxes based on the land as well.
Yeah,
That's true.
I own the. I could take the structure down and
Right.
just
Rebuild if you wanted to.
do a parking lot and connect it to the Suncoast and tell them it's
Underneath
part of the-
shuttle?
Right, underneath shuttle.
Get Tesla to build you.
Oh, there you go. Now we're talking, baby.
Elon Musk.
Yeah,
You guys have it all figured out.
I gotta figure it out.
If it works, we'll let you know.
Hey,
Anyway,
I
welcome.
gotta
Go ahead.
also add
Please.
here. She's written 7 books on her own as a ghost writer
And she's written Ghost,
and ghost.
and she is a
right?
ghost writer.
Yeah.
Published 5, consulted and edited for dozens of authors, athletes, and entrepreneurs. Pretty extensive resume career going here.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get away from ghostwriting, though, because that's what everyone wants, and I really have been doing a lot more workshops to empower them to write their own books. But I've got like a waiting list right now. I have 5 books I'm ghostwriting right now, and then I've got a waiting list of another 10 people.
Is that gold lipstick?
It is. I'm a blingy person.
That's pretty cool. I'm looking at it. She's got gold lipstick on.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And you've got the basketball medallion going.
Yeah, was a custom piece made just
That's
for me.
beautiful.
Mhm.
That absolutely is. Now, Neil kind of alluded to it, and it is 100% correct. I mean, your background is vast with all the things you're involved with. And of course, Life After Sports right now, I believe, is kind of like your headliner with the things you do. And first of all, how did you get down this path to even owning a basketball team at one point? How did all this start? What's your background?
So what's so funny about that?
Hold that mic right up. Let them hear you.
Okay,
There
what's
you
so
go.
funny about that is that I didn't play basketball. I played soccer for the Air Force, though, at Nellis
Oh,
Air Force Base.
Okay. Are you former military?
I am.
I didn't. Well, thank you for your
Yeah.
service. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
13 years in the Air Force.
Right on.
Yes, I used to be stationed at Nellis, and then I went back home to Chicago. But I played soccer at 3 bases, and but I was always a sports junkie. At all the bases I was at, I did all the tailgating parties and all that. I always put everything together. And then, so when I went back to Chicago as a hobby, I started a sports magazine called Superfans.
Okay. Well, that's
And,
cool.
Yeah, so I ran into a women's basketball team called the Honeybees,
Okay.
and I was doing their PR and marketing. And so they said at that point there was no league in Chicago. So they said, look, just keep us out in the universe because eventually there will be a league. So we stumbled across a league that already had 8 teams trying to expand to 10 teams. And so I put the deal together for some former NBA players to finance them. And at the last minute, the deal fell through.
Ooh.
The players decided they really weren't ready to own a women's pro basketball team. Because again, there hadn't been a team in Chicago since 1977.
Now, how far ahead of the WNBA are we talking from a time-wise to give
So
folks a perspective?
time-wise, our league was 3 years. When we folded, they took up the next year, which is what this
Oh.
documentary is about.
Gotcha. Yep.
Because they were supposed to purchase our
Share
league.
that. Please
They
share
were
that.
supposed to purchase our league.
Okay.
So I'm going to back up to the Honeybee cell.
Gotcha.
So what happened is the owner of the league, he said, well, if they're not going to do this, you've done all the paperwork, you put the deal together, why don't you go ahead and do it? Here's the funny thing. At that time, leagues were only $50,000.
Only.
The franchise
whole
was
league.
50 for the
Okay.
not the
Oh,
league, the
to purchase
franchise.
the franchise.
To purchase franchise,
Wow.
sorry. So I was like, so he says, look, if you can put down, a portion of this, we'll go ahead and get started. Because of course they were in this deal to expand it. They had another team waiting. The 9th team, they needed to even it out.
Gotcha.
So I went to all my friends, family, everyone, and begged, borrowed, still put my life savings up, and I ended up doing it. I also still had a couple of NBA players. I always thank Harvey Catchings. His daughter's Tamika. Everybody knows Tamika, but
Okay.
Harvey played with Milwaukee Bucks for years. He was right there by my side to help me walk me through it. And then I ended up purchasing the team. And so the Chicago Hustle, that's what I was saying, was that was the last pro basketball team that had been in Chicago, and that was 1977.
Okay.
Now let me ask you a question. Where did you get your players from? Were they coming from the collegiate level, or?
So some of them came from college, but some of them were already playing in the league. There was a team in Iowa and Indiana that
Okay.
were also they lived in Chicago, and they were traveling every weekend, trying to go in Iowa, going to play with other teams. So there were some standouts at DePaul, Diana Vines, Tammy Tammy Williams, Natalie Perino. There was some standouts that came from DePaul that were also in the league already, or doing,
Right.
they were just filling in for other Midwestern teams. So once we decided to do a Chicago team, we already had some teams that already integrated. And then, of course, we did tryouts for the rest of them.
They were traveling, so you had not only the expense of running the franchise.
Yes.
Without getting into details, you've got salaries, you've got merch.
Now they weren't doing. They didn't get salaries until Liberty Sports Network bought into the franchise midway.
So
Nancy
you got
Lieberman
revenue
is
coming in.
distributor.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So initially, the girls, before I came, the girls were kind of driving themselves to games. They were they would rent a van, and then of course, once I came on, I kind of got everything a little bit more streamlined. I always tell a story. One of the players, I hope she's not watching. She always gets mad when I tell the story, but I ended up leaving her at the airport because we had instituted rules. We had to get dressed now, and we're flying to games. We are getting paychecks at this point. And she was like, hey, I'm not gonna dress up. I got my flip-flops, and I left her at the airport. And so the players didn't speak to me at the whole time on the plane because they were like, we're not gonna win without her, and they were so mad at me. But they got there, they won the game.
And what was Nancy's? Because Nancy Lieberman,
I was just getting ready to mention her,
is in the NBA Hall of Fame, because the reason I know that is, for 4 years, I was the official artist at the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Right.
So every enshrinement, I did the cover of the media guide, etc. And I actually have her signature in the back room on her induction, but I illustrated.
Funny, I talked to Nancy Lieberman about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, because I guess she has a nonprofit where she's doing, she's providing financing for community centers and basketball leagues that don't have floors. She has a nonprofit that
Good for her.
I'm sorry, I'm Italian. I'm talking with my hands. I see my hand going.
An Italian and two Jews using their hands. We could end up all knotted in here right now. So our own game of Twister can happen right here.
So Nancy
looks like the wires.
So Nancy hosted our All-Star game, and I think that was probably in 1994, if I have my things right, my dates right. So Nancy hosted our All-Star game. So that was one of like our biggest games, biggest watch. And by then, now we've got television coverage from Liberty Sports Network at this point. So of course that was really huge. And then the biggest thing is a lot of people, they don't know necessarily about the league. Well, they will now because of this. The vision is getting so many, nominations and winning so many awards all over the country now. The founder, he was the one that did the documentary, because he wanted everyone to know about us.
When's the documentary coming out?
It's already been here.
Okay.
It's been a year and a half now.
If someone wants to research and search out, do you know any of the details where they can find and watch?
Yes, they have to just go to the WBA page, and I was gonna tag them in this. The WBA, they just have to go to the page, and he lists everywhere. Like he just sent me. We were talking on the way here because they're getting a big they're having a really big event in February in Kansas City. But he's literally every month he's in 2 or 3 documentaries around the country. It's huge.
So let me ask you a segue into what we're doing, because we're talking a lot about your ownership of a professional franchise. One stage of your life, one sector of your education. How did you get to the point before you got to purchase this? Any college experience?
And I want to say one little tiny thing. This is just so important. So our head coach, a lot of people do not know about the league, but they knew in Chicago, our head coach was Stephanie Rivera. Do you know who Stephanie Rivera is?
I know the name.
Do you know who Stephanie Rivera is?
I know the name.
Okay. So Stephanie Rivera is Ron Rivera's wife.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Coach of the Panthers.
Yeah. So a lot of people, we would always have to say, oh, our coach is Stephanie Rivera, because she was really big in Chicago. But so, that was just important to mention.
Okay, but you come out of college in which
I come out of college. So I go in the Air Force before I finish college, though.
Okay.
So I studied business. And so I go to the Air Force for 13 years. I probably have just a little bit to finish. So I come out, I go to SIU, which is Southern Illinois University. I finished my last 6 months.
Is that the Salukis?
That is the Saluki. Look
good.
at you.
There you go.
This is a guy, you know about the Salukis. Okay.
Sure.
Yes, that's definitely. So, but like I said, I did a lot of sports stuff while I was in the military, doing all the tailgating parties and all that. And from,
did you fly a plane?
I did not.
People do. Everybody, here in Nevada, in Las Vegas, I was in the military. I was at the Air Force Base. Did you fly? No. What do they do up there? I thought they fly, isn't it? The Air
I did
Force?
a lot of flying, but not. I worked in a dental clinic. I was a dental tech.
Okay, all right,
So I did dental hygiene,
there
and
we go.
but I tell you something that's interesting. A lot of people don't know this. So one of the worst jobs that I had while I was in a dental clinic for like a year and a half, you have to have these. They give you these other assignments, and so I used to have to identify dead pilots, though.
Oh, you through their dental records.
Yeah, the dental records.
Oh
So the
boy.
dental yeah.
Ugh.
So that was kind of like
That's CSI like.
I'm so glad I went that direction.
So a lot of people don't think that we do other things.
All right, so I'm giving a
Go ahead.
timeline thing here.
Go ahead.
So now you get out, you go into the Air Force.
Yep.
You're there for a number of years.
Yep.
You've got you're
doing sports stuff the whole
Yeah,
time.
you're a
Mhm.
junkie, like Yep.
All
of us are here
Yep.
here in front of the
And
camera.
I'm playing soccer, and I'm all this.
And
Okay.
you're doing now. All of a sudden, life changes. Life gets in the way.
Yep. I had a baby.
Yeah, right.
That's how life got in the
Welcome
way.
to adulthood.
There you go.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, you become a CEO of Life After Sports.
So what happened there is, after I got out of the military, I worked a regular job for a while, but my side passion always was sports. That's when I started the sports magazine. But after the most painful time of I guess reinventing myself was that period after I gotten out of the military and I'm working this day job, and now
what?
And now what?
Now what?
Exactly. And then so after the basketball team folded, that was another big now what? Okay, what am I going to do now? So I had the chance of going to work at the WBA at that point, the WNBA in San Francisco, but they wanted me to relocate for that time, like a $25,000 job. That would have been nothing.
Right, especially in San Francisco.
Exactly, and I had a baby at the time.
Yeah.
So I decided to, just start doing life coaching and business coaching and things of that nature. So what happened is my players started creeping back up. Like, what are you doing? Oh, well, I'm not doing anything. I want to be a coach. It's not going well. So after hearing this over and over and over, I said, I need to do something to help these women, initially, the women players that played in our league. So I started out just helping athletes that had,
By doing what?
by business coaching and branding and life coaching.
But you had experience in the back of that, Aaron.
Do you know who that is? The last one.
Sean, I do.
All right. He's watching right now. Hey, Sean. What's up, big guy? Thank you for tuning in and seeing Kandi today.
Is that Michigan guy that plays
Former
basketball?
NBA, and he took the winning shot against Seton Hall, 89.
Coach Carlissimo, I
Yep.
think it was, yes.
Yep. So, hey, Sean, thanks for tuning in, bud.
Thank you.
Hey, so, getting back to this, I'm a little trying to get timeline confused here. So, with very little experience in the marketing end of it, because
Well, see, that's probably the part that we're missing here.
okay.
I did work for the Illinois Institute for Entrepreneurship for over 15 years.
Okay.
And I was
It's pretty good for a 35-year-old woman. I
Yes.
mean, you have your
Yeah.
birthday coming up. And
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I'm adjunct. I'm teaching
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. I'm teaching business.
meeting people.
I'm meeting people. But more importantly, I knew business. I knew marketing.
Sure.
Well,
Sure.
we do more branding now, but I knew marketing. And I've always written books. I'd written books by then as well. So I kind of knew how to help people go to the next level. I had some tools in my arsenal at that
So
time.
now you're tying in all of the loose ends.
Exactly.
You've got them coming from all these directions.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, Life After Sports, which to me has got a great branding name, because it tells you exactly what
It is what it is.
It is
Yes.
what
Yeah.
it is. So you're now reaching out to some of these former athletes
Mhm.
that are retiring at a very young age.
Right,
Right. What do I do now?
right.
They reach out to you and you sit them down, or you talk over a phone, or you Skype, you do
All
all
of
this
that.
new technology stuff with the apps that you're also creating through that end. Woman is unbelievable. It just, I could go I want a page 2 to read everything about it. But the point is, now they're confiding in you with your past experience and your knowledge and your connection to the athletic community.
Right.
And you're coming up with all of these. Who the hell's working with you? You can't do this all by yourself.
No, I always have a team of people.
Okay.
But, I'm a one-man show. Certain days I have to get up and just, hit it every day. So that's kind of part of it also, was time management is important here. I wrote a
Huge.
book about that very about that thing as well, that subject. Time management is really important, but more importantly, it's about confidence. And that's the hardest thing to teach. You can't teach confidence.
Ability you're born with, you'll learn learn technique, you
Mhm.
enhance it with repetition.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use that? I mean, with some of the athletes, let's say I'm a former athlete. I was a baseball player, but thank God I can draw. I can't sing. I wish I could sing, but I can't sing. But
Stay in your lane.
stay in my lane.
Keep
So
drawing.
I'm all done with my athletic career, and I've got no formal training in anything else. I've got this boatload of not me. I got this boatload of money that I earned as a professional athlete. What do I do now? You get a phone call from this person and say, well, let's sit down and talk. What's the process? Talk a little bit about the process when this all starts.
So the process, the very first thing is we have to talk about the goals and the dreams, and we have to talk about reality, because I think one of the biggest issues with former athletes or just former sports professionals, period, is there's this some kind of way we think that everyone has just sitting on millions of dollars and everyone didn't make that big money.
Mhm.
Sure.
So, we talk about realistic goals. What is it that you would like to do? What is it that you love to do no matter what?
What your passion
And
is.
what's your passion?
Right.
Exactly. And once we kind of filter through that, then we can really have a real conversation. And then after that, we talk realistic goals with money. I don't like.
Do you have a? Let me.
I have people I do refer people to, though.
But do you have a template?
Yes.
A checklist.
A checklist.
Yes, of
So in other
course.
words, here's my brochure, and okay, no, you have passion. Okay, wait a minute, page 4. Okay, here are some suggestions for you. I mean, do you go over it kind of like that?
Yes. And then after that, we start referrals.
Okay.
If they need a financial planner, or if we know that they need
How
insurance
do
or
they
they
pay
need
you?
health issues.
How do they pay you? How do you base how you earn your living? Because we all have to earn money.
So I'll give you an example. So I have clients that, like a football player recently, he says, okay, I want a book. So, that was what he needed. Bottom line is I give people what they need, not what I think
Sure.
that they should have.
Sure.
So if you've got a lot of these athletes, they already got their attorney, they've already got their friend that does their finances, they've got their management. They need a specific thing. So I had ran into a football player. He says, I need we do a la carte branding service is what we do. So he says, I need a book. So I said, okay, this is what it's going to cost. $5,000 for me just to write the book and hand it to you.
Right.
If you want me to write it, publish it, whatever, now we're talking $10,000, and we go that way. If I want a seminar, I want a webinar set up, or if it's something that I can do and I have the time to do it, I'll stop and do it.
Do you have to go back to their management team? Or
In some cases.
yeah, I was going to say they'll come to you and say, look, Kenny, I'd love to do this,
But
but I
there's
got
always
to
that
check
but.
with my agent.
They always have to check with the
legality.
wife. They got to check with the wife, an agent.
That's like
an
anybody.
account-
That's like anybody buying anything. We got to
Right.
check with somebody else.
Yes.
If somebody ever wants to do like a podcast as part of their rebranding and getting out there and feeling comfortable, I do podcast production and
That's
I
awesome.
train people. I have a whole curriculum. I have everything lined up. So if you have folks that want to delve into that, you and I should make sure we talk.
Exactly.
Add me to your list of
Of
services.
services, exactly. And that's the most important, because I'm too busy. I'm traveling around the country. So
That's why I brought up how the hell
yeah.
are you doing all this?
yeah,
by
well, but a
yourself?
lot of it's referral based. Sometimes I take a cut and run.
Sure.
If I have someone that I
Sure.
can trust, like what Aaron is saying right
Yep,
here. If someone
yep.
wants, I'm not. If I feel like you're competent, say, hey, okay, guess what? Give me a finder's fee, and then I'll let you go.
From
type of thing.
from one Hall of Famer to another, we can make it work.
Okay, that's right. Exactly.
There are, and Aaron and I talk all the time about in life, which we're only here for a short period of time. You got to plant seeds.
Mhm.
The seeds may not grow right away, but you've got to fertilize them. You've got to water them. And you always stay in touch with people, because you never know when that right moment,
Right.
like you say, I've got a person for you. Here's my fee to connect the two of you. If I can be of any service in what I offer from that moment on, I'm
Mhm.
available to you. And you partner,
Partner. That's
and
key.
partner.
Mm-hmm.
One of our viewers, although it's not coming up there, Jeannie Purdue. First of all, her comment to you is thank you for your service to our country, Kandi.
Thank you.
And
Thank
then
you.
she's writing here at the bottom, the last message, I'm so inspired by Kandi. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow! Don't
So
make me
thank,
cry.
Thank you, Jeannie.
I'm doing a watch party.
Uh-huh.
This thing is
It's blowing
freaking
up.
it's blowing up. It's just, I keep saying, send a wave, send a wave.
I
Send a
just
wave.
want to remind everybody, and thank you for tuning in. You are watching Twin Brothers from Different Mothers, emanating live from the Portnoy Gallery here in the heart of Las Vegas. And today's guest is CEO of Life After Sports, Hall of Famer in the African American Hall of Fame, former franchise owner, WBA Chicago Twisters, an all-around great person. And I'll tell you what, I wish this was a show we had for 2 hours.
I know.
I mean, technically, we can stay on 24 hours if we want to, but because there's so much more, we haven't really even hit too much of your bullet points. But before we progress further, let's talk about, as an example, although I guess you kind of did, is that basically at times you act like a referral to help people bring everything together.
And sometimes I do.
But let's talk about your different platforms, the app. What's the benefit of the app? To give me an idea as to how these are actually working and how somebody can dig into them.
So Life After Sports, and I want to say something too, because we do a lot of stuff for kids, and we got a lot of blowback from people that said, oh, it's Life After Sports, but you're doing something for kids. And so our tagline is before, during, and after the sport you love, because our Meet the Pro, we have a Meet the Pro platform that's super popular. That's what we did for Aaron Jones. He has a annual event where they do a football camp for 2,000 kids, and we brought the Meet the Pro event to the college the night before.
Do those eyelashes get in the way of that?
Would you let her finish her answer, please? I'm going to turn your microphone off. Let her finish her answer.
Nuts. I'm watching the eyebrow hit the top of the head the whole
Just keep
time.
looking at me. Ignore him so he doesn't watch your eyebrows.
He said, oh my God, you guys are going to make me fall out this chair in a minute. So we have a Meet the Pro, and we do it at all levels, for high school kids, for middle school, and for college students. And so the Meet the Pro is really so important because we bring pro athletes and student athletes in the same space. So we have 8 speakers, and then we have food, and then after that we have a team building activity. If it's the weather's inclement, we'll do a big computer game, which is what we did at UTEP, which is Aaron Jones's alma mater. But sometimes we did one at Stupac. We've done a workshop with all NBA or professional moms of professional players. But the whole goal of this is so our student athletes can learn what they need to know about scholarships and student scholarships and social media do's and don'ts. And what happens if you have a student. I had a parent call me crying, saying that he relocated his kid to a school, and him and the coach, the kid and the coach aren't getting along after he made all these changes and did all this relocating. Now what? I can't.
Now you're stuck.
Now you're stuck. So we talk about all these issues so that we can hopefully guide them before they make these.
What I like about that, we always talk about preparation. I prep for a show, Neil preps for drawing, you prep for what you do. What you're doing is you're providing that opportunity for these young athletes to prep for what could be not pitfalls, but the things that they are going to face, because a lot of these kids don't know what to expect once they get out of high school or all of that stuff. You're giving them warning and great tools.
A lot of people think that once you get to the pros, you made it. There's a lady that said that her son got to the pros, got cut, and committed suicide after he got cut.
What do I do now?
What do I do now? And so they all need help. They all need everything that we're giving them, all these tools and guidance. Everyone needs them.
Bobby Knight, Hall of Famer, obviously. I got to see him speak in Indianapolis once at a conference. And the one thing that I pulled from his whole speech that I use on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis is you play to your strength and you avoid your weakness. However, if you bring on board and partner with people that your weakness is a strength of theirs, you become stronger. Makes all the sense in the world. So, what I'm hearing and reading out of all of things that you do, and believe me, we could have 3 hours.
Absolutely. We'll have to make sure. What I'm thinking, like a regular scheduled appearance of all that she's doing.
I would love to, and bring one of the athletes on with you and let them.
Well, I know she does events, so when she's got events coming up with folks, I know we'll bring her on for that stuff.
To elaborate a little bit on it is, if you've got this kid who's a 5-star recruit, you've got an athlete who's no longer in the game, you've got a financial person that works with athletes, you've got business and sports attorneys, and you've got function people who put on productions and promote, etc. And you put that team together for the one individual, that individual can then do what they do best. Play to your strength.
That's true.
For more information, I know you have a website, lifeaftersports.biz, correct?
Yep, you guys are good.
Well, that's because you gave it to me here on your note. No, I'm only kidding. Plus, Kandi, of course, is on Facebook. Is the organization on Facebook too?
Yes, it's under Life After Sports.
Right on.
I want to go over the bullet points here real
Yeah,
briefly.
that's why I was starting to kind of. She's touched on a couple of them already.
Yeah,
So,
but
but touch on a couple before we put her in the hot spot.
It gives me a
Yeah,
chance
a little
to talk
glare.
more, you know, like.
So talk about the app. Is this the same thing as your website? People can just access it via their phone.
Yep.
Okay,
But this is a little bit different because the app has a little bit more features than the website.
gotcha.
So the reason why we developed the app was, what do we do in between our Meet the Pro events, and how, and here's the biggest thing, is that we talked earlier about the athletes going through and getting approval from
Right.
the wife, the
Whoever.
agent,
Right.
whomever.
The 6 girlfriends.
The
yeah.
6
The suit
girlfriends.
slayer.
Exactly.
Right.
So one of the things that the app does, so we have an area on here. We have the all the professional sports teams here in Vegas and LA. We're going to eventually put all of them in. We've got upcoming events. We've got a behind the ball series for student athletes. Every time we do an event, we have athletes leave some tidbits and nuggets behind of information. So there's videos in here where they can just go and get some information. But what we are most proud of is 2 things. One, down the middle here, they can, and that's Dawn from UNLV, that she was able to lend us her likeness. So there's 3 sections here. So if you're a business, or if you're a nonprofit, or if you're a pro athlete, you can go right on here. We have a concierge button where you can say, hey, I'm in town for the weekend. I'm having a birthday party. We need whatever it is. We need liquor delivered to our room, or we need t-shirts made,
Right.
or whatever. So sports teams, they can use this. If you guys wanted to have an athlete here, you could go in here and say, hey, we want to book an athlete to speak in here. We would throw it out in our database. We also do push notifications. We do advertising in the app. So it's allowed us to have a clearinghouse, if you will,
Sure.
for people to just come in and sign up for all kinds of different things.
Do you ever put non-athletes on there?
There's an area on here. We do put non-athletes on there, but there's an area on here for nonprofits, businesses. So whatever it is that you are, you can.
I'm not talking about wanting to sign up to use your services.
Mhm.
But I'm talking about being available as part of your organization. Go talk to.
So let
Kids.
me tell you, this is what. So
I hope you're seeing where I'm driving down
so
the
wait,
road.
wait,
here.
wait. But let's. I know where you're driving, but I've driven there. So what's not done yet, and we are in
Okay.
the process of doing it right now. We have 25 workshops for athletes.
Okay.
Welcome to Vegas, running a business, concussion, CBD, gambling, domestic violence, on and on and on and on and on. And there's some that aren't on here.
Right.
In each one of these, it's video and it is resources.
Pretty extensive. I'm looking.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. You're not gonna,
So
too many lights. You're not going to pick it up.
yeah. So the what's interesting.
Can I go back in that camera over there?
No. Yeah. It's like, where's Waldo?
Okay. All right. I feel better.
We're being simulcast.
But you know what? The tie-in, you know, and we could go on and on.
But wait.
Let her
There's
finish
the
your point.
resources.
Because I want to know if Portnoy and Phillips can get on this thing as
Absolutely.
potential
Yeah,
speakers.
That's a gimme. We
So
definitely can.
so the thing in here is, like, there's 25 workshops. It's only listed here as 10.
Right.
So we've got all kinds of resources for almost everything that will be tied into each one of these workshops.
Because I can also do one about health. I don't know if you know my health story.
I do. I know.
So-
And I follow that.
But-
Yes. And
but-
you know, so I know we are going like all over the
Yeah,
place.
We are.
But-
Welcome to Twin Brothers from Different Mothers.
to
It's like
tie
the
it-
cat with the red
to
light.
tie it all in and summarize, there will be sections on this app for people who want a destination spot in
Absolutely.
Vegas, that
Absolutely.
want services,
Yes.
products, etc.
Yes.
And obviously, Aaron and I both have services and products that
Absolutely.
would lend itself. I want to quickly go over life. We're talking about how the app works, Life After Sports, but how we work with the community organizers, organizations here in Las Vegas. Our Meet the Pro platform, allowing our student athletes the opportunity to be mentored by pro and former athletes.
Mhm.
How to network with Las Vegas and national sports events, the NBA All-Star Game, Super Bowl, and FL Draft here in Vegas.
Mhm.
And provide, this is key because I utilize this service all the time, but providing branding and endorsement opportunities, books for athletes and sports professionals. Now, again, this is just a database. Basically, it's a database of Kandi and all of the services and products that are provided by your organization of Life After Sports. How do people reach out to you? Contact info. I'm watching the show as one of our viewers out there that may not be located here in Las Vegas, but in the city that you will have an event in the future. How do I reach out to you? I'm intrigued. I want to learn more. Give us some contact info.
So on all social mediums, we're either at KC Biz Boss or at Life After Sports. On Instagram, we're life_after_sports. So, but on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, every social medium, LinkedIn, at KC BizBoss. Those are my initials, and then BIZBOSS, and then at Life After Sports. And if you download the app, which you can download on both iOS and on Google Play, you can hit us up through the app. All of our contact information is on there, but you can also share the app. You can also leave us a message through the app as well.
Do you have a VA? Do you know what a VA is? Virtual assistant? Doing it? Or are you doing all this too?
No. I have like a small team of people, about 4 people that work with us. So we have a social media person, even though I'm a social media junkie. Yeah. So a lot of it I do myself. Like, for instance, I went in today. I've got 4 Instagram accounts. I did a new little flyer today. That's because yesterday it said join us tomorrow. The one said join us today. And I just shared it to like all 4 of my. So a lot of stuff I just do myself because I've got 4 devices. So
plus, you know how to write in your own emotion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aaron,
so
what do you want to add there? Because you got your pad up, and I know that's the key to. I'm going to say something.
No. Well, I was just going to, if we wanted to do the spotlight real quickly with her, we have our spotlight.
Yeah. What we do here, let me preface it, give you a little bit. What we do is
this is going to be totally different than what we've been doing.
Yeah.
I don't have to sing, do I?
No. Not unless you want to.
This guy told me yesterday, I said, I can only sing in the shower. He says, I'll put a shower on the
stage. We'll turn the water on. You'll get the effect.
Well, if you turn the water on, that's going to give me a different effect.
Yeah, we have a spotlight here segment of twin brothers from different mothers where we're going to give you a series of questions, not to be thought about.
Quick fire.
You got a quick fire. First thing that comes to your mind.
Uh-oh.
And I'll tell you the philosophy behind it.
And I do a thing when I do my caricature show called the Portnoy Pop Quiz. It's kind of similar to that, but this is where my partner, my co-host Aaron, who is tremendous at this, I love this segment of Twin Brothers. So that having been said, Aaron started.
Here's the quick philosophy. Everybody's been watching you and they know you as the business person.
Right.
But I believe that people connect with people, regardless. So these are questions that people out there watching are going to learn about Kandi, the person. Okay. First question, real quick. Who's your favorite actor?
Denzel Washington.
Favorite actress?
Halle Berry.
Favorite Denzel movie? I went back on one.
Gosh, Devil in a Blue Dress.
Oh, that was a good one. Favorite all-time movie that when it's on, you drop everything, you get your popcorn, your favorite wine, whatever, and you sit down and watch it.
The Godfather.
The original.
The
very
original.
first one.
The 1 and 2.
I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Favorite genre of music?
R&B.
Okay. Favorite song?
Favorite song is Charlie Wilson. It's on my
playlist option number 4.
Gosh.
That's okay.
All Charlie Wilson songs, actually,
right.
But anyway.
All right, my next question you can answer because we're on the internet, not terrestrial radio, where the FCC will yell at us.
Okay.
If you choose to share it. Favorite curse word?
SHIT.
You can say it, you just don't have to spell it.
Well, shit.
Oh, there you go.
Shit, that's it.
If money were no object, what kind of car would you love to see parked in your driveway someday?
Range Rover.
Really?
Yes.
Best vacation ever taken?
Mexico.
Best bucket list vacation that you haven't done yet?
Africa.
Okay. Describe your favorite meal from beginning to end.
Oh gosh, it is salmon. Oh my God, salmon.
We get salmon a lot. Have you noticed that?
Well,
we do.
The guys at steak.
That's just fish.
Yeah, I only eat a few things. So salmon with asparagus and a baked potato. Not
dessert?
Fancy, but I love it.
How about dessert? What's your favorite dessert? Doesn't have to be after your meal, but what do you like to? What's your sweet?
I like tiramisu.
Okay, all right. What's your favorite Las Vegas-based thing to do to relax? What's your typical Las Vegas thing?
Actually, I like going to the Rampart on their jazz. They have like a band.
Mm-hmm.
They like that plays oldies. I love that.
Okay. Do you live up that way?
Yeah, I live down the street.
Oh, okay.
Well, not down the street, but down the street from Rampart. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because we're not that far from there. We're over. He's in Desert Shores. I'm just on the other side of Cheyenne.
We're in by the lakes.
Oh, okay. All right. I used to live in the lakes. Let's see. Favorite Las Vegas suggestion when you know somebody who's coming to Las Vegas and they say, "What do you recommend to do?"
I tell them to definitely do the zip line.
Which one?
Uh,
Fremont or the
yes,
one
the
off Rio?
Fremont. The Fremont.
Okay.
And then I tell them to make sure that they eat at one of my clients' restaurants. It's a jerk chicken restaurant on Sahara,
Which one is it?
Paradise Place.
Okay.
Jerk chicken, authentic.
And you
Gotcha.
can add, make
Delicious.
sure you make it down to Portnoy Gallery.
I was just going to say. that's
Right. Make sure you come to Portnoy Gallery always. And then what I really tell them to do is get off the strip a little bit.
Yep.
I tell them to just get off the strip.
Right on.
There's recently we had some family in. They went to the Motown, the Gin Motown
Right.
thing in over in Miracle Mile. So I just tell them to get off the strip and enjoy.
John Lindquist, we love you, Kandi.
I love you too, John. John, I want to cry. John really introduced me to so many people when I first got here last year. He really did. He's like, you should know this person and that person and this person. And he tagged me, and him and Annette, they followed me everywhere. And they're really just really wonderful.
They're
They're great.
Yes.
people.
They are.
Love you
They are.
too, John. Thank you so much.
Last question off this list. If you were not doing what you do today, what career would you like to have done to have tried?
This is so funny. What career would I have done? I don't know. Maybe I would have. I don't know. I think I just would have been a real estate agent.
Okay. And why is that? Just curious.
Because I'm a Libra. We like beauty. We like architecture, things of that nature.
Okay.
I just don't have the energy now to go back and get it. But I think I would have been a good real estate
Okay.
agent.
Well, you certainly have the personality, and I know you combine well with people. So I could definitely see that being in your wheelhouse. Any events you have coming up that you want to share?
So we are trying to put together something in December. So please follow us, because December is Life After Sports' 3rd birthday. And we try to do something. Last year we did something with the kids over at one of the e-game studios. So we may be doing, other than that, everything is really first quarter for me of 2020. So we have NBA All-Star Weekend, Chicago, February 15th. Athletes Who Give. We are raising $5,000 for student athletes to give 10 athletes $500, 10 student athletes. So that's going to be in Chicago, February 15th. I'm going to do an event in Miami during Super Bowl week. We're doing an event for youth there also, but having a guest player there. And then that's going to be in January 28th to the February 2nd, Super Bowl week. And then we're also doing an event with Hall of Famers the end of the week. And then we're doing an event in New Jersey with a client, one of our app clients that advertise on our app.
We're in Jersey. Just curious.
What exit?
Right.
We're looking at doing it in Newark. The Newark
I was
area.
born there. I was born in Newark.
Oh my
Beth Israel
God.
Hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a client, Transcend sports firm, who's got 2 players playing overseas on Australia right now.
Right on.
He's advertising on our app. You can advertise on the app.
By the way, twin brothers can travel too. By the way,
All right.
just
You guys
remember
wanna
that.
travel too?
Yeah, we
We're
absolutely.
gonna
My,
pack up everything.
my
You
stuff
know,
will pack
can-
up and ship
We've had a lot of success when we've taken the
Yes.
podcast remotely.
on the road.
You know, people are like, you're drawing attention, you're bringing people in. So, down the road, we're not saying to do it, but it's an option
Okay.
that somebody sponsors us to come and they become the sponsor of the show, Twin Brothers, Different Mothers.
Okay.
And we do a live remote from the event and bring in some of these student athletes, bring in the
Oh, that would be
athletes, bring in
great.
the
Give them
sponsors.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then last but not least, you guys know that the draft is here. So
Yep.
I'm working with a couple of companies that are doing events for some of the draft picks.
I had number 340. Oh, that was a different draft.
No, that's a different. But that would be a great event since it's locally for us to see if we can do something out.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
keep us in
Okay.
mind.
I
Hey,
will.
look at the clock.
Is it
I
past
know.
1 o'clock?
Probably.
We do this all the
I
time.
know,
'cause
that's
we
funny.
love doing this.
Oh no! This was a great show too, by the way. I wish we would have published a little bit earlier, but
Well, the good thing is that once I hit end broadcast,
Mhm.
the Facebook video is ready for resharing.
Okay.
Then the audio is currently being recorded, and of course now we are on Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn,
saw
Stitcher,
that.
SoundCloud. So those audios will be up. You can share, and people can go to what, and we upload to YouTube, so
that's
people can
great.
go to whatever platform
Plus-
they want to re-see it.
Plus, we're going to have her back as a guest. I mean, we just touched the surface
Oh my gosh, I know.
on what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm like excited. I was like, I didn't know what I was missing here.
You know what? I gotta share with you. When we have guests on here, they really don't know what to expect.
Right.
And sometimes neither do we.
We never do. But when we do the show, every one of our guests looks at us and goes, "I had the time of my."
I
we're
did.
gonna
I
do
had a
this again."
ball.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So
Okay.
we will have to schedule another when you have either some news to break or just to catch us up on stuff.
Okay.
You know, and you just ring me up and say, "Hey, Aaron, I got some stuff I want to share." We'll set it up. We'll bring because I have passion for sports. Is my real passion besides being behind a microphone. Former athlete, passion for what he does. I know we're sold on this type of organization to
Mhm.
support within the community. And
And
so
when we get these workshops up, I really want to come because the one thing I didn't get to say is the reason why we did the app
Mhm.
was the big guys. If they get in trouble or they need information
Right.
on cannabis or CBD
Sure.
or concussions, they've got someone. But the lower end guys who
Right.
don't make the big money,
Right.
we want to have resources on here:
Yeah.
doctors, physicians.
And that's when you do these seminars. And again, I'm not trying to promote Twin Brothers.
Go right
kinda sells
ahead.
itself.
well, I like to be on the stage talking
No,
about the health
of
transition and
course.
what people can do.
What I'm
Absolutely.
saying is to do a remote broadcast from these seminars, because what it does is it now gives these student athletes
A platform.
maybe their first opportunity to get in front of a camera,
Right.
to see how to speak into a microphone.
All part of the training.
All part of the training. It all partners into what you're doing with the organization. I think it works.
I have actually created curriculum
Yeah, I heard that.
on
I
how to
was-
do from A to Z what we do, including how to present yourself, how to talk, how to prep, and all of that
Can I
stuff.
ask how much it is?
We'll talk
Oh.
offline. I'll give you such a deal.
You know
Don't worry.
what? You know what? When I hear someone ask him that, here's the answer I always give. It's extremely affordable, and everything is negotiable.
I love it.
What he said.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad for having me today, guys. This
Well,
was
thank you.
awesome. I can't wait to
Happy
do it
birthday again, by the way.
Thank you. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Yes, I am 40 something.
I am 4 years old.
Exactly.
All right. Our guest, Kandi Conda. Great. Thank you so much for joining us. So we'll hear more from Kandi and her organization, Life After Sports. When I get home and don't drive, I will be downloading the app to my phone just to stay on top of what's going on. Final thoughts, Mr. Neal.
Final thoughts, tremendous show. Thank you so much. I think our viewing and listening audience learned a lot today.
Absolutely.
Just touched the beginning, the tip of the iceberg to who you are, what you do, and here's the most important thing: what your passion is.
Yes.
Because we use the word passion in the show, and people say to me all the time, "Why do you draw?" Because I have a passion for what I do. That is really important for anything that we do in this short period of time that we're here on this planet. It's baseball season, it's football season, it's hockey season. I would have worn my Red Sox outfit, but they're not in the playoffs, so I don't want the pain of having to.
Game one, baby. Houston
Game one.
Astros.
But we want to thank our listeners.
Absolutely.
We have coming up in the very near future. We're doing, believe it or not, the 1 year anniversary of
November
Twin
2nd.
Yep, of Twin Brothers from Different Mothers.
Mark your
Birthday.
calendars.
We're going to have an event here at Portnoy Gallery where we emanate from. Nice word.
Maybe for
emanate.
that day, maybe Kandi can throw us a couple of her athletes to come and make a quick star appearance.
Not maybe, she's going to. I plan
Oh, you're
to
talking
see.
about, oh, you're ready.
I plan
Okay.
to see. Yeah. But
So mark it. We want everybody here.
we want everybody here at the gallery. It's going to
Okay.
be a great event. And once again, I want to thank you. Very enjoyable show. We always have a ball, but this was special.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Good job, Aaron.
That-
Glad I ran into him.
That's right. Well, let's give credit where credit is due. Our mutual friend Missy Lynn is the one that connected us,
That's true.
and we've been at events, and we just finally got it done the last time we hooked up a couple of weeks ago. I do want to make just one comment about our next couple of Saturdays right now, Neil.
Yep.
We don't have any scheduled guests as of right now. So if you want to come on the show and sit in the hot seat and spend 45 minutes talking about your business as Kandi did, please reach out to us at twinbrothersdifferentmothers@gmail.com. Love the opportunity to chat with you and set something up and have you come on the air with us so we can help promote you and what your passion is about. That's the key thing. For Mr. Portnoy, for Miss Kandi, who's as sweet as ever, again, another great happy birthday tomorrow. Enjoy from all of us here and all of our fans out there. Have a great week, everybody, from all of us here at Twin Brothers from Different Mothers. We will see you next week right here from Portnoy Gallery with somebody doing something. Have a great week, everybody.